Guys, Daniel Markham here. I wrote the domain model for domain modeling. I'm working on some really cool stuff. I wanted to explain it to you. If you've got 2 minutes, I can tell you what's happening. When you're done, I promise to give you 1,000,000 free internet points. You can spend them any way you want. You get them in the email. So let me tell you what's happening. A while back, I wrote the domain model for domain modeling. What that means is a while back I started on a book on backlogs. Backlogs are probably the number one problem teams face because it's the point where they start putting down what they want to accomplish ahead of time, even if it's a sprint or so. And once they start sort of planning ahead, you end up with some big design up front problems, overspecification, architecture comes into play. In short, backlogs really suck in general, the way they're actually being used. They don't have to suck, but they suck big time. They're many times used as a work breakdown structure. I try to help teams. I just got me so upset I wrote a book about it. And as I wrote the book, it occurred to me that really what you're doing with the backlog is you're explaining to a team how they learn something, right? So the purpose in describing what you have to do ahead of time, even if it's just a week or so, is to say, hey, I need to learn about blah, blah, blah. And the process of meeting somebody, learning about their domain, what kind of work they do, how they live their life, their day-to-day activities, some of that's UX, some of it's analysis, that's learning. That's learning how to make stuff people want. And so my first book, InfoOps 1, which is out now in stores, is how to learn how to make stuff people want. A friend of mine said, Daniel, that's all fine and dandy, but hey, Buck, this is programming. We want to see some code. We want to see some hard bits and bytes, and take this and don't just give us examples of how to talk and work. Give us examples of how to code. I think this is most excellent. So the second book I'm working on right now is InfoOps 2. I thought about InfoOps Strikes Back or a few other things, but just stick with 2 for now. It's about how to learn how to be a better programmer. And of course, that also is true if you're doing big data or building giant robots. Whatever you're doing, if it involves translating needs into technology, you need some way of learning how to be a better person at doing that. And so I'm going to do some static code analysis. We'll talk about good code, bad code, good enough coding, a bunch of cool stuff there. But I started worrying about the other side of that, which is how do large groups of people, like 10, 20, 30 people, learn about what they need to learn about. That's startups, that's big data, that's machine learning, that's artificial general intelligence, that's program management. That's just large groups of people approaching a domain. Maybe it's ad sales, maybe it's car configuration. There are a lot of huge domains that have really huge teams with a lot of data. How do all those things work together so that a large group of people can learn about stuff? Because that gets really fascinating. So there's InfoOps 3, which is how large groups of people learn, the generic process of learning. I think I have some stuff to say on this. I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn. I didn't take a mailer course, nor am I released from prison recently. Even might tell you that. I do like telling jokes. I'm quite a silly person. I find that being silly lets me think sideways about problems, and I come back to the problems in a different light. So if you don't like really bad jokes, you probably won't like hanging out with me. Having said that, we're going to talk about Wittgenstein. We're going to talk about John Dewey. We're going to talk about C.S. Peirce. We're going to talk about Socrates. We're going to talk about how programming really is applied philosophy. And by that I mean programming is the art of meeting with others and coming up with a series of questions and conversations that lead to a creation of a new science. And by that I mean creation of a system of technology. Maybe it's a website, maybe it's an app, a series of apps. And that science, that website, the series of apps you've created, begins to let you ask questions and explore. If we do this, do customers stay on the site? If we do that, do they leave? And so applications, technology applications, are defined sciences around a sort of large-scale human behavior and other things. So it's cool stuff ahead, code, real programming, but I really want to explain to you kind of why things work the way they do. If you come out of this course only learning about typed exceptions or what Daniel thinks about functional programming or strong naming or static typing, you probably should go somewhere else. Because, I know all that stuff, happy to talk about it, but my opinion's a dime a dozen. What you really should learn is, here's how to think about programming differently, right? So the second book, How to Learn to Be a Better Programmer, is how to start thinking about programming so that you know which books to read, you know which conferences to attend, you can somehow measure day to day, week to week, whether you're becoming a better programmer or not. Same goes for the third book. That's what I'm doing. Thanks for hanging out. I will see you on the internet.